Welcome back. The Revolution Wind project is currently in a holding pattern, with the Trump administration issuing a stop work order on the build of the wind turbines off the coast of Rhode Island. Because most of the turbines are being built and being put into waters managed by the federal government, the government says it has the authority to shut down their construction. So in New London, that means many turbines are just sitting on the pier with nowhere to go and no one to work on them. New London Mayor Michael Passero is here to talk about that and other things happening in his city. Mayor, welcome.
How are you, Eric?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being here. Tell me about this, because this has to be a shock when this news comes down. 80% complete, this project, and anyone who drives over the Gold Star Bridge or spends time down by the pier has seen these turbines and their components rising up from the pier. So what's your reaction?
It was a shock. So this happened on August 22nd. Got a call from Orsted saying they had received this stop work order. I think, we all believed that we were out of the woods because the project was so far along. Obviously, in April, Empire Wind, the New York project, was shut down. So we knew that was a possibility, but we really felt safe with our project because it was fully permitted, 80% complete. And we've been on a holding pattern ever since.
Obviously, the long-range piece of it would involve electricity being generated for homes in Rhode Island and in Connecticut. But the workers are coming to work every day in your city. Have you seen effects of this shutdown so far? And what are you worried about as we move forward?
So far, there haven't been any layoffs. The developer, Orsted, is holding on to the workforce, from what we can tell. They're keeping the workforce there. The installation vessel has come in. They've brought it in off the ocean, but it's tied up down at State Pier. It's pretty enormous to see that vessel there, and that alone is close to $500 million a day that the company's paying to lease that. So the damages are just cranking up millions of dollars a day in damages while this project is on hold.
Obviously, you'd like to see it continue, being that it's in your city, but really on a bipartisan basis. We had Congressman Joe Courtney a few weeks ago. He was calling for it to restart. On the state level, Vincent Candelora, the minority leader, a Republican, came out and said, no, it's almost done. We got to finish this thing. So the governor famously this past week said, show me the ransom note. What do you want? We want to get this thing done. Are you doing anything? Is the city working on anything to get this going, or what are you hearing?
We're supporting the work of our federal delegation and obviously the governor and his staff, but it's above my level, right? Negotiations with Washington to get this going. The impact, though, is incredible. I can see why in Connecticut it would be bipartisan, because this will affect our energy rates. The energy that was supposed to start flowing within months is anywhere from a $600 million to $1.5 billion savings for the ratepayers a year once this power starts flowing. And that range is based on the cost of natural gas power. But this is very efficient power, and the energy companies were depending on it. So it's really got to get going.
Obviously, there was some retooling down at the pier to turn it into this for this mission. And it became clear, like you said, with the New York project, that probably during a Trump administration, there weren't going to be more. Does it affect the long-range plans for the pier and for New London as a city that supports this, or is that still yet to be determined?
It's still yet to be determined. But for me, I'm very bullish on the future of this industry. New London, of course, is very invested in it. The state's invested in it, over $300 million to redevelop this pier in order to support the heavy lift cargo that's needed to sustain installation of the turbines offshore. We've already completed one project. Very proud of that. The Southport project, that's developing power to Long Island. This project is 80% done, and it'll be developing another 700 megawatts of power to the grid between Rhode Island and Connecticut. Connecticut's got close to 400 of that power. And then we have Sunrise Wind, which is close to 1,000 megawatts, which is lined up behind this Revolution Wind project. So there's a real future for that industry. New London's proud to be part of that. And I see it as the future, really. We're going to need this leg in that energy supply chain. We're going to need it. The country's going to need the power. We're going to need to be able to diversify where the power comes from. And the availability of this low-cost wind power off the East Coast it's just too logical. The market, I think, is going to drive the industry, not as much as the political powers down in Washington.
Well, Javier, I want to ask you about some other issues in your city. We had you on about a year and a half ago or so talking about the church collapse and the explosion and then the collapse there. What's the latest? I know there's some housing coming and the city is going to get reimbursed, you were telling me, for its costs and cleanup.
Yeah, you know, the loss of that church, that great architectural treasure that we had, historical treasure, we're still feeling that. There's very few photos or paintings of the streetscape in the city that don't include that church. It was iconic, but we are excited about the housing project, which it will be starting in the spring. And it's a beautiful building. The architectural drawings are just about finished. The financing is just falling into place. Like I say, they're just waiting until the spring because there's a fully restored historical building next door that's serving as a dorm for Connecticut College. So we're going to wait till the Connecticut College kids are gone for the summer before we start blasting for the foundation of the new building. That church was built on a ledge. So there'll have to be some removal of the granite in order to put the new building in. 47 units. It's going to be, mixed income, supportive housing, which we need very, very badly. 60%, 80% AMI housing, and some market rate units. So it's just what the downtown needs.
Only about 30 seconds left, but former Day columnist Dave Collins was writing about the Coast Guard Museum, and we've talked about it. We asked Joe Courtney when he was here. Are you confident it's going to get done? Because I know there's a new wrinkle since his column where there's only one bid for the pedestrian bridge. You think it's going to happen, Mayor?
Oh, yeah. Very confident the pedestrian bridge, a good contractor that bid for that. I think they'll negotiate a way to get that done with that contractor. And the museum the steel is almost complete. You can see the 6 stories that are going up. It's great to see a crane over the city. No, we're very excited about it. Very confident that this will be delivered to the Coast Guard by the end of 2026.
Well, you talked about the new units on the church site, hopefully some visitors coming to a Coast Guard museum. I told you I was in your city for dinner and a cocktail a few weeks ago, and it was booming on a Friday night. So good things happening in London. We appreciate you coming here to tell us about it.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Mayor Passero.